Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Are you guys hearing me? Let me know. Share the link, everybody. I just want to make a statement and get out of here. Well, a statement and some comments. A statement and some comments. Share the link, everybody. Share the link, share the link, share the link. I'm trying to read your comments. All right, everybody, share the link. Share the link, share the link. Share the link to like 20 other people, everyone. Share the link. It's hot. Good afternoon, Machu. Let me know where you guys are watching from. Brooklyn, New York in the house. Who's that? Who's in Brooklyn? Colin, Wycliffe, Livingston, Whitaker. That's a long name, Colin. Watching from French Guyana. Miss Smith, I see you. Share the link. Brenda Braffett, thank you. Taylor Jones, Brendan Thompson, East Flatbush in the house. Pinky Kerr, Donna Hola, watch it, you know, watch it, Donna Hola. Watch them trench crappers, Donna. Ian Bino, Brooklyn. Jason McDonald, Illinois. Where in Illinois you are, Jason? That's a big place. Linden in the house, Guyana. Flatbush, Natasha. I see Canada. Who's that? Maud Oliver, United Kingdom. London, England is in the house. New Amsterdam, Don Chesney. Come on, share the link, share the link. We have to have a couple thousand people here. Keep sharing the link, everybody. Don't make me get a bell like Sheridan start to bang that bell. Share the link. Where's Barticle? Where's Essequibo? Mahaika. I see you. Port Village, Myconi. Jasmine Shepherd Innes. Big up to Myconi. Godfrey McCallum, Canada. Debbie Apple? Or is it Applewheat? James Alexander. Wow, this thing is flying so fast. I can hardly read it. Keep sharing the link. Keep sharing the link. Let me see. Cecil Capel, watching from Queens. Rhonda Lane, Den Amstel. Hello, Den Amstel. Clifton Hill, Brooklyn. Rita. Sealy. Cliff, that's close to me. Who else is watching? Good night, Lachmin. Aziz, West Coast Babis. Pleasant good night. It's daylight here, though. Lachmin is daylight here. You guys are like on the other side of the map, the globe. Loretta Campbell, New Orleans. Good night. When is Mardi Gras? Loretta. Northwest Ontario. Nigel Goody. I just saw a comment by one of these racists in Queens or wherever he is. What's the name? Let me see. Harris Delany. Well, that's a made-up name. Saying that I am responding to Bharrat and today is my Sabbath. So today was my Sabbath. Sabbath done. And thank you for minding my business. I'll respond to Bharrat whenever I want. Racists don't dictate my actions, okay? Get lost. Run along. Keep sharing the link. Mortimer Trim, good night. There's Samuels Felix, good night. Barbados, them Bajan people in the house. Bajan, Alex Williams, Bajan. Good night. Keep sharing the link. Keep sharing the link. Keep sharing the link. Share the link. Share the link, everybody. Donna Bradford, thank you. I saw your comment. Thank you very much. I know you're sharing the link. All right. So I want to make 3 comments. I want to make 3 observations. I'll leave Bart for last. I want to pick up on something. I just saw that fake name with that post. I'm not sure if it's me, but do you guys detect the arrogance now of these PPP cult members? They're so arrogant. And that is what Bharrat Jagdeo feeds into by telling them black people in the diaspora live in basements and we're criminals. And that's what he feeds into. He is replicating Donald Trump, right? He's replicating Donald Trump. He's a wannabe tyrant. He's a wannabe tyrant. And I think since he plays that he's a wannabe tyrant, we must deal with him like how people deal with tyrants. Go check throughout the world and see what's the end of tyrants. Look at world history and see what happens to tyrants. Right? That's the treatment Bharrat Jagdeo must receive. I saw the PPP is cultivating their supporters. One, to ensure that Afro-Guyanese receive no respect, except the ones that they could make puppets, except the ones that they can control, like the ones they have in their cabinet, like the ones they pay to go out in the street and disparage Black people. Have you ever heard a PPP member or a PPP associate, a house slave, say anything good about Black people? Let's have a real conversation here. In order to be in the PPP or associated Bharrat Jagdeo, Black people have to strip themselves of their Black identity. And they have to adopt this hostile, disparaging posture to their fellow Black people as they can be around the PPP. I kid you not. Go through the PPP supporters or the PPP's employees, because they pay Afro-Guyanese, right? Ordinarily, unless some Black people have a problem with the PNC, they ain't going to the PPP, right? Almost everybody in the PPP, because of two things. They're paying them good, or they have a problem with the other side, like Joe Hamilton. Keep sharing the link. Keep sharing the link. The PPP is not a party of diversity. It's not a party where diverse segments of the society want to join. They're a racist, socialist, autocratic regime. They don't believe in democracy. They don't believe in equal rights. They believe everything has to be a competition. If Black people get budgetary, oh, Indians must get it too. But it's not the other way around. Let me repeat that. If Black people get something, PPP believe all people must get something too. If Blacks are doing something, no. We have to do it too. As a matter of fact, we must control everything. We're the ones that must speak. We're the ones that must have high contacts in the international community. You must not speak to people in the international community, you Black people. We East Indians in the PPP must speak for you. And I am very comfortable having this conversation. I grew up for 30 years in America. I spent more years in America than I spent in Guyana. So to hell with those so-called values in Guyana that tell me I mustn't discuss race. Because every time you criticize the PPP, they see that as being racist, which is an acknowledgement that they're an East Indian party and you mustn't criticize them. That because they believe they're supreme. Let me repeat that. I am very comfortable confronting the PPP about race. I'm very comfortable discussing race with my friends. And the majority of my friends are East Indians. Because I grew up in Cove and John and later on the West Coast. So most of my friends are from West Coast, Berbice, and East Coast, Cove and John, those areas. I have more friends from Annandale, Lusignan, Industry, than I have in Golden Grove. And Cove and John, actually. I can tell you where my friends are. Mahaika, Haidam, Unity, Cove and John, Beehive, and more. Lusignan, Annandale, Industry, and going up. On the West Coast, majority of my friends were Vreeden Hoop. Well, some are from Baggotsville, Sisters, Parfait Harmony now. Coming on the Anna Katrina, Hague, then I have still Stroudville, Iflot, Dewellum. I had a very good friend. What village is that? I don't remember, but he taught with me at Iflot School. He actually committed suicide. It was a very sad thing. We used to call it Daya Singh. Those of you who remember from Iflot School Remember Mr. Singh? Phenomenal East Indian guy. We used to hang out all the time. I hang out at Metamirzog all the time. So everybody who knows me on the West Coast, so most of my friends are Indians. And we have this discussion. We have an open discussion about it. And most of them agree with me. Most of them agree with me. And most of them are targeted by their fellow East Indians because they're friends with me. So let's hear this thing. Let's have a rational discussion here. I heard, I think I know who it is, but I'm not going to call his name. I heard a gentleman, I heard two questions asked at the opposition leaders meeting in Queens. One of them was, what is his position on the fact that you have this division in the diaspora where CGID in Brooklyn is talking about race, and then you have the Indians in Queens fighting back CGID. Let me put it this way. I want everybody in the PPP and their support base, their cult, to understand this. If your party was not racist, CGID would have nothing to talk about race. If the PPP government was not racist, CGID wouldn't talk about race. What are the things CGID talks about? Injustice, abuse of the police force to harass and persecute Black people. That's a fact. What are we supposed to do? Turn our eyes? That's a fact. What do we talk about? The unfair use of the police and justice system to target Black opponents of the PPP. Why don't the PPP supporters tell their party to stop harassing Black people? You want us to stop talking about your racism? We're not going to stop. So let me say this. We're not going to stop. As a matter of fact, we're upping the ante. We're upping the confrontation with the PPP and Bharrat Jagdeo. We're upping it. We're going to up it. And we're going to up it and up it and up it until something happens. The whole dam breaks or the PPP reverses course. Let me repeat that. We're going to up the ante in our fight for equality and fair justice and equity and respect for the human dignity of Black people in Guyana. We're going to up it. And if it goes as high and the pressure is so much that the whole dam breaks, so be it, then we won't have a country. We're going to have a failed state. Because we are not ever, and I'll fight to make sure that them young people in Guyana were jumping up a party around the place in Guyana without being conscious of what is happening to them. We can fight until they understand that they have no future under the PPP. They can't develop themselves under the PPP. The PPP might go and throw money at them, and this warrants a serious criminal investigation. I have never seen a government pull out money from a bank, pack it up in a car trunk, and go and distribute it around the country. Who's accounting for that? And that's their approach. That's governance for them. Bribe Black people, tell them shut up. Go into their Indian communities, give them billions, throw a couple thousand of Black people. And then tell Black people it's one Guyana. Keep sharing the link. So I want to have a frank conversation. Bharrat Jagdeo and the PPP could attack us in the diaspora all they want. Those attacks have no effect on what we're doing. None. None. Bharrat Jagdeo could call Black people criminals how long he wants. It has no effect. Zero on what we're doing and what we plan to do. He could say with critics and all his followers in Canada and Queens that Black people live in basements. It has no impact on what we do. None whatsoever. As a matter of fact, the more he says it, the less respect he garners. Nobody respects him. Who in the Black community respects Bharrat Jagdeo? Who in the diaspora except his sycophants? in Queens. Respect Bharrat Jagdeo. Who? Respect Bharrat Jagdeo. Who? We will keep doing what we're doing. He telling the world that he's going to criminalize me and this and that has no effect. Absolutely none. It shows how shallow, how stupid, how ignorant, how racist he is, that he feels so comfortable using his government office to perpetuate a racist stereotype in America because he thinks it demeans people. He feels so comfortable using KKK Jim Crow tactics against Black leaders in the diaspora because he thinks he's a superior. He thinks that he's a supremacist. He's supreme. He identifies with the white supremacist movement in America because he has a congenital hatred for African guys. He was born with it. He didn't develop it. He was born with it, as far as I'm concerned. It comes too natural. The hate he exudes is too natural. He's a nasty, dirty racist. And it's proven. All the stuff they say about us and other leaders got to make it up. All the stuff they say about me, they got to make it up. Bharrat, you have enough on your record. We don't have to make up anything. We don't have to make up anything. I don't have to go and say, oh, Rick Van Berg is an extortionist. Making up stuff. A big supposed vice president like you have to make up stuff just because you want to be racist and demeaning and defamatory to Black people. I heard him say 2 days ago, Raphael Truckman, this, Burke, this. This man never talks anything else but a name. He's like Big Auntie Comsey of Guyana. Big Miss Mary. A little sissy. All he could do is call a press conference and cuss out Black people. And he feels so comfortable doing it. And Bharrat Jagdeo, let me tell you this. I am not those easygoing, nice, whatever people that don't want a confrontation with you in Guyana. I want a confrontation with you. I dare you to come after me because I'll go after you back with equal speed, force, and velocity. You come for me, and I'm coming for your throat to rip it out, Bharrat Jagdeo. So you could call your press conference every day to curse me out. I will respond to you every time. And every time you speak, it shows how stupid you are because you're a vice president in a country how many thousands miles away, and I'm a private citizen in America. And you have to call a press conference to pay attention to me. I'm a private citizen in America, and you're all the way in Guyana, supposedly posing as a fake head of state. And everything you do is centered on me, this private citizen in America. And I'm a low-life criminal living in a basement. It shows how stupid you are, Bharrat. Why, if I am some low-life living in a basement in America, you bothering with what I say? I thank you for the attention. I thank you for bringing greater international scrutiny to what I have to say and to my platform. So keep speaking, Bharrat. Keep speaking. Nothing you say is going to impact what we do. Obviously, what I say is impacting you because you're spending most of your days talking about me. So I am doing something right because I want to get your attention, Bharrat, and I have it. You are a racist. The policies that you're promulgating in Guyana are anti-Black. You run the most vicious, anti-Black, racist government in the Western Hemisphere. That is undisputable, and the world is now seeing it. And I will help the world to shine light on you and the racist government that you run, Bharrat Jagdeo. The other thing I want to mention, so just to wrap up on that point, CGID is not a racist organization. CGID is a civil rights advocacy organization. And we advocate for the rights of people, whether they're black, brown, Indian, pink, Amerindian, Asian, Chinese, European. But at this point in time, the people who are under subjugation and oppression are the Afro-Guyanese citizens of Guyana and some Amerindians and some East Indians who don't support them. And they're oppressing those East Indians who don't support them because of their association with the opposition party that they deem to be black. That's the reality. That's the reality. Keep sharing the link. Keep sharing the link. So don't tell us what to think and what to say and how to say it. If you don't want CGID to keep pointing out the racist policies and practices and utterances of the PPP, tell the PPP to stop it. That's all I have to say. Tell the PPP to stop it. We're not going to stop talking because you want us to stop talking. Don't bring your supremacist attitude to us. And your ethnic arrogance that we must stop talking. Don't bring your ethnic arrogance to, don't tell black people stop talking because you are annoyed that we're talking about your racism. Stop the racism and we're going to stop talking. Start to be diverse, start to be equal, treat us equally, ensure we have equity, ensure there's inclusive governance, where every Guyanese, regardless of race, can benefit from the resources of the government. Then we're going to stop talking about how you're racist and you're only giving contracts to your East Indian friends and family. That's a fact. We're not going to stop talking about it because you don't want to hear it. If you don't want to hear it, correct the practice. We're not going to stop talking about using the police force to harass and persecute and abuse black people because that's what you're doing. We're not going to stop talking because you don't want to hear it. Stop it. And then we will stop talking. We have nothing to talk about. Govern rights. And then we'll move away from talking about discrimination and we'll talk about how we govern in the country together. The resources of the country must be shared equally. And then we're going to stop talking about the PPP supporters. I want people to realize this. The philosophy of Bharrat Jagdeo and the PPP is that whenever they're in power, black people must not benefit from anything they're doing, only their supporters. In some other countries, the country would have been finished if the government, you imagine Jamaica, where the JLP, which is the ruling party, telling the other half of the country, PNP supporters, that they can't benefit from any resources of the government because only JLP support. Jamaica would have break up. But the people in Guyana are too docile, too apathetic, too unconcerned about their own well-being and their own rights. Maybe they're busy fighting to survive, or they're busy waiting for a savior, Jesus Christ or Biden or somebody. And I'm not advocating for the country to break up. I am saying that with these kinds of policies, if implemented in other countries, those countries would have seen hell. That government would have seen hell. But Bharrat Jagdeo and the PPP are getting away with these atrocities because the people in Guyana allow them to. Sometimes I am embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to say that some of the people in Guyana are descendants of the indomitable slaves that defeated slavery, defeated colonialism. So the PPP could single out the 1 and 2 and 3 of us who are fighting for everybody, because everybody else quiet and accept the abuse. Well, my son got a scholarship, and I got survive in Guyana here, me want nobody kill me, so I gotta stay quiet and let them trample on you. Imagine that. Bharrat Jagdeo has earned a reputation of Vladimir Putin. He's earned the reputation of Vladimir Putin. Everybody accepts that if you criticize Bharrat Jagdeo, expose the atrocities he's committed, you're going to either be dead or ostracized for the rest of your life. You guys accept. Let's reason. It is a fact that Guyana has accepted this, that Bharrat Jagdeo is the Putin of Guyana. Look and see everybody who crossed Putin the fall through a window. They get bomb out the sky, they get poison, or they get jailed. He's such a coward. He's such a coward. All of his enemies, he has to use instruments of the government to go after them. He's such a coward. He cannot fight fairly. He can't have a face-to-face fight, a confrontation, an argument, a discussion. He has to abuse the powers of government to go after his political enemies. Keep sharing the link. Keep sharing the link. You think about it. If you expose his alleged bribery scheme that was unearthed by Vice News, he doesn't have the gall to stand up and have a fair discussion about that. He can't go face the media about that. International media, because they would throw him alive. They'd throw him apart. Right? He stay in Guyana and go this media where nobody want to ask so much question because nobody want to get run off the road or get shoot when they're going home or something like that. Keep sharing the link. Keep sharing the link, everybody. That's his concept of control. Abusing the police, abusing the army. And by the way, let's go to the extrajudicial killings. We posted a notice today. We issued a notice today for any social justice organization in Guyana and the families of persons who were killed by the PPP/Bharrat Jagdeo death squad to send that information to CaribbeanInstitute@gmail.com. The information we want is the date of birth, the date of death, the circumstances of death, meaning this person was shot and killed so time, what are the circumstances of the killing, etc. Any narrative that gives information about that, submit that to us. Because we are working with the international agency to compile a complaint for the International Court and for the United States Congress. Bharrat Jagdeo just admitted at Roger Lunchan's reflection night that the government had to take alternative means to law enforcement to kill people. He has admitted to genocide, and Guyana is silent. Guyana is silent. He is saying that he couldn't trust the army, so he formed a militia, a death squad that executed people. And the people of Guyana, black people, silent. I just saw Dennis Chabral, an article about Dennis Chabral, who's by no means a supporter of the opposition. He said an inquiry was, and his article was about an inquiry that should have been conducted for over 1,000 extrajudicial killings. Now, Rickford Burke says so, a journalist, independent by all means, but more biased to the PPP. He said over 1,000. CGID says it's been over 1,400. And we got that from intelligence information from the government, from the previous government. Over 1,400 people were killed by the death squad during the period they called the Troubles, which President Granger named the Troubles, which was when Bharrat Jagdeo / PPP death squads roamed the country killing Afro-Guyanese, who they claimed were criminals. And let me address this issue. They're giving themselves comfort, maybe shelter, they think, by calling the people the death squads killed criminals. So Bharrat Jagdeo designates you criminal, put you on the list, and they kill you. How about if somebody decides to do the same thing? Put Bharrat Jagdeo, put all the PPP people, put some people in the community who are who they don't like or who are resistant, and call them criminals and execute them. Would the PPP supporters accept that? The law, the Constitution of Guyana, outline the process for people who are considered or accused of crimes to be brought to justice. Nowhere in the Constitution give Bharrat Jagdeo the right to designate people criminals and kill them. And so I guarantee Guyana, let me say this again, I guarantee Guyana that CGID, and as far as I know, the rest of these diaspora organizations in the United States will not rest until there's some form of international investigation of these death squads killing. Bharrat Jagdeo and the PPP will not get away with murdering over 1,400 black people, and then he sits down at a press conference every Thursday, huffing and puffing, thinking that he's some god that kills people. It will not happen. I will fight for that until the day I die. We must have, Guyana, we must have justice for the genocide perpetrated against those young black men by the PPP. We must have justice. And it was disgraceful that the APNU administration didn't do it. They were in government for 4 years. I'm not sure what they did for justice for those people. At least we don't know. One man died campaigning for that Granger administration, and they were so ungrateful. They did nothing to pursue justice for Courtney Kamui. Nothing. It's a black stain on the Granger administration. Keep sharing the link, everybody. So the other question I heard at the Queen's meeting, I was not there, but I heard it, where one of the attendees, let me put it that way, asked opposition leader Orbinot about his position on me raising these issues and creating division in the country. Let me stop right there. I am not controlled by anybody. The PNC, of which I'm not a member, cannot tell me what to say, what to do, what to think. And I would not do the same thing. We can express our opinions about each other or say when we agree or even disagree. But don't ask the PNC anything about me. Ask me. Ask CGID. We have a structure. We have a communications director. Send those questions to me and I'll answer them competently. Competently. I have no apologies. Absolutely none to anybody for bringing to fore the issues that I bring, which is justice, equality, equity. Again, don't complain about what I say. Listen to what I'm saying and see if it's not facts. Bharrat Jagdeo just admitted that there's no black person who own an oil block in Guyana. He further admitted that only East Indians, apart from the multinational corporate, listen, excuse me, apart from the multinational companies like Exxon, like Exxon and Esso and so on, only East Indians have oil blocks. So we're supposed to accept that because the East Indians of the PPP are supremacists. They're not supreme beings than black people. We're second-class citizens. We're not supposed to talk. Why is Bharrat talking that only Indians get blacks? He's dividing the country. Divide the country. You guys are dividing the country by only giving East Indian people like blacks. Don't tell me that I'm dividing the country because I'm pointing out your racism. So you stop dividing the country with your racist policies and practices, and then we'll stop talking about it. Why is Bharrat talking about Bharrat Jagdeo death squad? That done gone 10 years ago. Oh, really? There's no statute of limitation for murder. Why don't you all tell Bharrat, give up himself at the police station and confess to the atrocities of the death squads that he and his government created? He admitted it. He admitted it at Roger Lunchan's funeral, night of reflection, memorial. Tell him to go into the police station and give up himself, turn himself in for the murders of the death squads, which he created. He has admitted that they had to create alternative law enforcement measures, as he calls it, because the army and the police couldn't be trusted to carry out his wishes to kill people. These people have the audacity to ask why I'm speaking about the racism. I am dividing the country. Why don't you ask the government why they broke up the black people houses in Makkah? I spoke about that. Is that dividing the country? Or breaking up the houses dividing the country? Why don't they ask the government why they broke down the people's homes at Hillfoot? Have you ever seen any government in the world breaking down people's homes with their children and livestock and furnitures and appliances in them? And you guys got the gall to say CGID divided the country by talking about it? Don't come to us with your reverse psychology. We bright, y'all ain't bright. Y'all are not bright enough to pull that off. You're trying to do what the Republicans are doing. Y'all don't have the intellectual capacity to pull that off in the PPP. Sing whatever years in America, guess what? You show me once where a government in America break down people's place without a court order, without the court listening to all sides and coming up with a solution. Name me that. And they're still up in here arguing, coming on my page to argue, to justify their racism, comparing America to Guyana. America, as a democracy, the people y'all support threatening it. Tell Bharrat to come and run America and break down somebody's house and see what can happen. And you see, they could come and make these arguments because we allow them to do it. We allow them to do it. They're so barefaced. Not once, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, not once has this PPP government sat with the legitimate black leaders. Keep sharing the link, everybody, to talk about the issues that we're talking about. No, 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 no. Black people ain't got no right. ACDA, we don't talk to ACDA because ACDA supports black people who are inferior to us. They're not part of this country. We're not supporting ACDA. Epology talks about our racism. We're going to break it up. We're going to find other organizations that we're going to make epology. Lincoln Lewis is the head of the trade union movement. Lincoln Lewis talking about our racism. We're going to either kill Lincoln Lewis or we're going to break up the trade union movement. We're going to starve his organizations for funds. That's Bharrat Jagdeo and the PPP. They don't believe in engagement. They'd rather meet white people. You hear me? They'd rather sit with the white people from America and Canada and England to talk about the rights of black people in Guyana than meeting with the black people in Guyana to talk about their rights. They have this slave owner mentality. They think they're the new white people. Bharrat and the PPP think we are the new white people of the colonial era. We will enslave these Negroes of Guyana and we will take everything. They're not entitled to anything. And when they start to complain, we will employ some house Negroes to dispute what they're saying and pay them with some crumbs from the table. Meanwhile, we will pack up all the government's money into a bag and go and share them out to our East Indian supporters. And black people, you dare not speak about that because you're not superior enough. You are slaves. You are our new slaves. Well, PPP, if I read history correctly, the slaves rebelled and they defeated colonialism and slavery. And you ain't no colonial master, and you are nothing to defeat. Bharrat Jagdeo is only powerful when he got a black man doing his bidding and another man next to you with a gun. Tell Bharrat Jagdeo go and walk down the street. Let him take a walk down the street alone, having committed all of those atrocities. And let's come, before I close, to the conference that he continues to complain about. The Diaspora Organizations of America, the Guyanese Diaspora Organizations of America, we're having a conference. We're having a conference in Washington. We're having a conference in Washington to talk about how do we here in this country, America, us from the diaspora, our elected officials, government officials, how do we together promote equal justice under law, equal rights, inclusive government, inclusive growth, which means everybody benefit from the economic prosperity of the country, and sustainable development. How do we support policies and programs in Guyana to sustain the development and upward mobility for everybody? The PPP is against that. How dare black people need to talk about their development? Y'all is supposed to talk about development when we tell you all to talk about it. We, PPP, new slave masters of Guyana. They're the new Gladstones, the PPP. They're the new white colonialists. How dare you black people have a conference? That conference is criminal. Remember when the black organization copied 250 wanted to have a conference on the emerging apartheid state? The government said that conference would be illegal. No other than the Attorney General of Guyana argued the conference will be illegal. So black people have no right to meet and speak. According to the PPP, black people have no right to assemble to discuss racist policies and practices that resemble apartheid policies. Black people, how dare you black people speak? It is illegal. You cannot talk about our racism. That's the Attorney General of Guyana. He wrote a long letter. It is unconstitutional. Bart come with the same crap now. That is a criminal conference. Maybe he thought the conference was produced by his mother. I'm sorry, it's not. It is not produced by your mother, Bharrat Jagdeo. It is produced by Guyanese who are concerned about what is happening in Guyana. If you're looking for a criminal, look in the mirror. Your mother produced that in the mirror. That's where the criminal is. Yeah, it's past black people. And the people in Guyana accept it. But I want to send a message to Bharrat Jagdeo. You come after us and you try to profile and stereotype us, and we will engage you robustly. Let me quote you. We will engage you robustly. We're not afraid of you, Bharrat Jagdeo. We're not afraid of you. If you think that you're a bad John, you don't see nothing yet. If you, Bharrat Jagdeo, think that you are a bad John, you'll see nothing yet. We will come after you back. And we don't have to make up anything. We don't have to go and try to use no lie and people to go after this body and go kill nobody, hitman. We just have to deal with you with the facts and your history and your record of atrocities and criminal behavior. And the disrespect you talk about, I don't care who congressman, you're gonna care. I guarantee you, Bharrat Jagdeo, that after this conference, you will care. You will give a damn what congressman go to the conference. Your eyes past black people. And I know that your intent is to demonstrate contempt for the African American members of Congress, because you're accustomed licking the toes of white people who come to you, Bharrat Jagdeo. If there were white, and there will be white Congress members there, those are the people you respect. You don't have no respect for black people. But we will teach you a lesson. We will make you, Bharrat Jagdeo, we will make you a topic of the conference. I'm sure that's what you want, and that's what you'll get. You will be a topic of, as you know. But let me say to you, that draft agenda you have, it's going to be completely different at the conference. So you could run with that. You could run with that. You could hold press conferences every day and curse out members of Congress and think that you can use Guyana's oil money that you're depriving black people of in the country to hire lobbyists to attack American politicians who advocate for fairness and equity and a non-racist government in Guyana. I dare you, go ahead. I dare you, go ahead. And like you, as you said, Bharrat Jagdeo, You will send your agents to disrupt the conference. You even said that you will engage in blackmail. You even engaged in a terroristic threat against United States government officials, which is a crime. I dare you to go ahead and conduct it. You send your people to the conference. And I bet you, you will regret it. Send them to disrupt the conference. Send them to disrupt the conference. This man thinks that he could just jump up and slander and malign and smear people. And he does it because the people in Guyana allow him to do it. Well, this Afro-Guyanese man here that you seem to have contempt for, I have an equal amount of contempt for you. I have no respect for you. You have no honor. You have no dignity. You're a disgraceful, despicable racist. And I will come after you every time you come after me. So Bharrat Jagdeo, buckle up. Let's go for the ride. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.